What you're about to see are passionate, dedicated, and trained people practicing and preparing to enter an extreme sporting event that may change their lives. Do not try this on your own without necessary experience and supervision.
Breathe in, breathe out. This moment's what it's all about. Want to be great, your goal awaits. Don't hesitate, accelerate.
Set for the race, aim to give it all I got. Mind is set, gonna reach the high spot. Working hard in order to fulfill my goal. Nothing can stop me from getting what I'm going for. That's being great, I was working tirelessly, so I won't hesitate. Gotta get to first place, hands on the golden plate. I'll concentrate, won't hit the brake, just move forward, accelerate. Welcome back, guys. This is Accelerate. Last week, we saw how 8-year-old gymnast Kaylee swung her way to 2 medals in a national competition. We also saw how 15-year-old Byron Mitchell became the youngest Formula V champion in the country. This week, we're going to meet 2 new accelerators and find out what it takes to excel at their extreme sports. We meet 15-year-old climber David Nodia. Climbing is a sport where you only use your hands and feet to ascend a steep object. There are several types of climbing activities, but today, David will show us what it takes to participate in his upcoming indoor climbing event. We're also meeting 11-year-old motorbike racer Thabang Keswa. He competes in 3 different motorbike classes. He races Mini Moto, which is a pocket bike that is 1/4 the size of a regular bike. But don't let the size fool you. These 50cc engines can reach speeds of up to 126 kilometers per hour. He also races in the NSF 100 Junior class, which is a 100cc engine, capable of reaching speeds of 120 kilometers per hour. These bikes are very robust and can stay on a track for much longer. He also competes in the Junior Motocross class, which is a motorbike that is capable of going off the road. Will Thabang be able to master these 3 awesome bikes in time for his upcoming event? Let's find out.
My name is Thabang. I'm 11 years old and I'm in grade 5. I stay in Poland and I stay with my mom, my dad, my sister and brother. I started motocross racing when I was 8 and then switched over to road racing when I was 10. The event that I'm currently practicing for is Moto SA Round 7 Championships. My future plans and aspirations is to win the NSF 100 Championships and then go to 150s, and then after that I can go to the Red Bull Rookies Cup. I love motorbike racing because it makes me feel that I'm free and I like competing against my friends. The event is important to me because I need all the points that I can get for the championships. If I don't do so well for this race, it will make me try harder for the next one. I'm not a sore loser, but I won't let you win if I can possibly help it.
I'm David Nodia. I'm 15 years old and I'm a rock climber. I'm in grade 9 and I go to Bishop's College. I live in Rondebosch with my mom and dad. The event that I'm competing in the next few days is the provincial competitions. So the provincials, it splits up. So provincials is the smallest comp, and what happens is if you do well in this, you'll get put through to the national competition. And if you do well in that, then you get selected for China. This event's so important to me because it's the highest level that climbing has for the youth at the moment. It's the Olympics of the youth climbing, if you put it that way. And it's all the best climbers, all the best youth climbers in the world. They're all competing, and it's just on this world stage, and it's just big, and it's amazing. it's never for me an adrenaline rush or anything when I'm climbing. It's all, I feel very like at peace with myself when I'm climbing. It feels right. It feels natural to just be moving up, and I think the best sort of way to describe the feeling is just gratitude and achievement, and just you feel like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is amazing. Like, that's it. Yeah. If I win this event, it'll mean a great deal to me because it means I'm the best climber in my age group in this province. If I don't win, it won't be the end of the world to me. I know that I've done other things and I've won other competitions and I've climbed other hard climbs, and so I only compete because it's fun, and I don't compete for the title or for the medal. It's all just about the fun, and it won't devastate me if I don't win.
After the break, we'll see how these two accelerators prep for their upcoming events. In the meantime, check out our Facebook page, like us, and maybe tell us about the extreme sports that you do. Welcome back to Accelerate. We are ascending new heights with 15-year-old climber David Nordier. And we'll also see how he preps for his upcoming provincial event. We'll also see what it takes for 11-year-old motorbike racer Tabang to prepare himself for his upcoming regional competition. Let's find out more about these two rad sports.
Some of the basic gear you need is you need a pair of rock shoes, you need a harness, you need a chalk bag, and that's sort of all you need to really start climbing indoors. When you get outdoors, it gets a bit more technical, and you need sort of a rope, you need quick draws, and that sort of stuff to start climbing on rock. So you get different kinds of ropes for different types of climbing. The most common type of rope is called a full rope, which is generally from a sort of 8.7 millimeters to an 11 millimeter thickness diameter of a rope. They're dynamic ropes, which means they have some stretch. So when you fall, they stretch a little bit to just soften your fall. They come in different colors and from different brands. Climbing can be a very costly sport. The gear is often quite expensive. They can go from sort of 2,100 Rand all the way to 4,000 Rand for some ropes. So a lot of the climbers do struggle to pay for this sport. So for sport climbing, you generally want a very light, minimalistic harness that allows you to carry very light gear. And so when you're climbing, you don't have to lug as much heavy gear up to when you're climbing on very difficult movements.
These are called chalk bags, and basically all a chalk bag is a bag to put your chalk in. This normally goes above your harness, like that. And you clip in, and then whenever you're resting, you can just dip your hand in, and then the chalk, what it is, it's magnesium carbonate. And the magnesium carbonate keeps your hands dry, so your hands don't sweat and slip off. These are called boulder pads, and these are only really used for climbing on rock, for bouldering on rock, when you need the pads that you see in the gym that you fall on when you're bouldering, and you need to bring those with you when you're climbing.
So shoes are the most important part of your climbing gear. There are many different kinds of shoes for different kinds of climbing. For the most part, you want a shoe that's very rounded, and so you can use it for sport climbing, trad climbing, and bouldering. A shoe similar to this is a very good shoe for sport climbing and bouldering because it's downturned, which means it's sort of got a big arch, which means when you're climbing on a roof, it can really hook into the holds that are on the roof, which allows your feet to grip in nicely so you can climb with more style and finesse.
So in climbing, there's many different types of holds, and we have different names for those kinds of holds. A hold similar to this would be called a crimp because it's incredibly small and you can only get your fingertips onto it. So that's a crimp. Other holds are like this. This is called a pinch, just because you're pinching with your fingers. That's a pinch. This is called a horn, so it looks like a horn. This is a jug. And a jug is just, it's a big hole that you can get your whole hand into like that. And just really, you can really just like, most people rest. If you like climbing a route and you get to a jug, you'll rest and you'll shake your hands out to get all the blood back into your arms. These are called quick draws, and these are used for sport climbing. And what you do is you clip them, there's a bolt that someone's pre-placed into the rock, and you clip them into the bolt. And you clip your rope into here, and these are what protect you from a fall if you had to fall. Some of the risks indoor climbing are not that bad. They're padded floors, and there's experienced people all around. And if you lose concentration, you could potentially hurt yourself. But there are padded floors everywhere, and it is really safe. So in outdoor climbing, it is more dangerous, but it's also more fun. I think if you lose concentration again when you're outdoor climbing, it could potentially end up quite bad. But for the most part, you're always aware of that safety aspect of climbing, and it's still safe, even though there's no padded floors.
The basic rules are you have to obey the flags. The checkered flag means that the race is finished. The red one means that somebody has injured themselves or there's something wrong with someone's bike and you have to stop. And the yellow flag means that somebody is crashed. Some of the basic equipment that you need for this sport are helmet, back protector, leathers, gloves and boots, and knee sliders. The risk associated with the sport is falling off your bike and damaging your bike, which costs a lot of money. My parents aren't involved in the sport, but my dad used to race. My parents are very supportive because my dad takes me everywhere and my mom makes sure I'm fit. It takes dedication from my parents because they have to make sure that my bike is fixed and take me to practices and events.
My name is Peter van Nieuwkerk. Tabang joined our family when he was 8. I'm now his guardian. We came across him when we were at the Vaal River and he saw us riding our motorbikes. And I think he crept into our hearts then and he has never left, and now he lives full time with us. The support I have to give my kids obviously is financial, but I also try and be there for when they lose, as you often do, and try and be there to motivate them again to get up and try again, try harder, and just thoroughly enjoy the sport. Tabang is a very quiet little boy until you put a helmet on his head and put him on a motorbike, and then he becomes one of the most determined little guys I've ever met. And he stands back for nobody and nothing. I think what I like most about Tabang is that no challenge seems too big for him. If he gives you the nod and says he's going to do it, he goes ahead and does it. The impact the sport has on our families, it brings us all together. It's something we're all very interested in. It gives my children a lot of confidence, and it gives them confidence to not only race and take part in things, but gives them confidence to interact with other people, other children. And really, I think it's all positive from a point of view of racing and what it does to our family. The only negative impact that it has on our family is we're not always able to attend parties or friends there because it takes up most of our weekends, either from practicing or racing or all the other aspects that are involved in the sport. The safety aspect of the sport does concern me, but I try and minimize it by knowing that we always supply the best gear, we have the best marshals, all the safety aspects are followed. So I think it does concern me, but I try and put it to the back of my mind. If you ask me, am I a meddling parent? I think every racing parent is a meddling parent, but we do try and stand back, especially when the coaches get involved. Otherwise, they can be as strict on us as they are on the kids.
My coach is Neil, and he is very strict, but also sometimes funny.
Tabang is an amazing little kid, very quiet, doesn't say a lot. He started off on the little mini motos, but very determined. You can just see the determination in him. And he started off as a beginner, like they all do. Come last in your first race, maybe come last in your second, hopefully not in your third, and you start building up from there. But Tabang is an extremely receptive person. If you tell him to do something, he does it. And he learns very quickly. And the lines that he takes when you tell him to take them is done without any hesitation. I'm sure if you told him to drive into a wall, he would. He really is. He's a kid that listens, and that's why he's going as far as he is. There's a big future for him. His attitude is good. He doesn't fob you off or anything. If you say to him, "Listen, I want you to do this," he does it. And that's where the little winners will come from. It's all about the attitude to learn and to listen.
It's a sport that requires a lot of dedication from everybody in the family, especially your parents. Your parents need to lift you to some of these places. I mean, sometimes we travel 3-4 hours just for a weekend to go climb. And so it is a sport that requires a lot of your time, especially from the climbing. But yeah, parents, you just need lift, and just lifts really. It's sort of a big part of it.
So one of the things that we as a family are very supportive of is his time. So because climbing takes an incredible amount of time, one has to be aware that we'll have to make sure that loads and loads of time is allocated on the weekend to get to the mountain. Make sure that he's got the right gear, especially the right shoes, because without the right shoes he can fall off the mountain. Without the right harness, without the right rope. So we ensure that he's got the right gear. The other thing that we do is psychologically to just, there are days that he comes off the mountain and he's not happy because he hasn't achieved. And you have to keep telling him that maybe today wasn't a good day and tomorrow will be a better day.
After the break, we'll continue with Tabang and David. If you have an extreme sport that you'd like us to check out, why not tell us about it on our Facebook page? Who knows? You could become our next accelerator. Welcome back. You are watching Accelerate. We are kicking up a gear with 11-year-old motorbike racer Tabang and hanging out with 15-year-old climber David. Do these guys have what it takes to come out tops in their upcoming competitions? Let's find out.
I probably spend 60 to 70 hours a week climbing. I climb pretty much 3 to 4 times a week here at City Rock, and then another 7 to 10 hours a day on the weekend on the mountain. And if the problem with climbing is that it requires a lot of your time to get good, and the moment you don't climb for a month, you lose all of that and you've got to start again. So you have to maintain that high intensity training and just climbing a lot in order to stay good and improve.
Any climber who's serious about climbing will have one of these. And you put this up on a door frame or just a wall, and you hang on these small holes. And you hang on them for a long period of time, and then you fall off. And these get you very, very strong. So if you're training for a competition, this will be built into your training schedule.
At the moment, my coach is actually my dad. He's a coach, and so he coaches me every day, pretty much. Whenever we're climbing, he'll suggest things and he'll show me how to do some climbs that I don't know how to do. And obviously the bond's really good when we're camping and we're just talking and we can talk about climbing. And so we got a really good bond. But yeah, for the moment, my coach is my dad.
I would say that the reason David's good at the sport is time spent doing it. He's completely devoted to it and spends a huge amount of time thinking about it, visualizing himself succeeding in it and practicing those motions. I think although David would not like to admit it, these events are important to him. He doesn't like to lose, he doesn't like to fail. But he is in essence an outdoor climber. He loves to be on the crags or on boulders at Rocklands in the Cedarburg. And he doesn't, indoor sport climbing is not particularly his forte, although it does get you strong and it's a brilliant training ground for outdoor climbing. Climbing, I guess, like any sport which you're passionate about, tends to be the focus of your life. He does occasionally stop climbing to watch climbing videos, but we do manage to get the schoolwork done, and before he goes climbing or when he comes back from the gym each day, we sit down and make sure that he's keeping the schoolwork up to date. So it's not something that we can neglect at all. I think David has a very good chance of winning this event. He has won many of them in the past, so I'm sure he's going into it with the expectation that he has a very good chance of coming first.
So this event's so important to me because if I do well in the provincials, which is the event, then I get put through to nationals, and then we're going to be competing in Johannesburg, and that's sort of the biggest competition in this country. If I don't win, it won't be the end of the world to me. I know that I've done other things and I've won other competitions and I've climbed other hard climbs, and so I only compete because it's fun, and I don't compete for the title or for the medal. It's all just about the fun, and it won't devastate me if I don't win.
The biggest lesson that the sports taught me is to not be scared when someone's coming past you and just try your best. The event that I'm currently practicing for is Moto SA Round 7 Championships. The event is in 3 weeks and I plan to practice very hard. How I plan to get fit for the event is to do BMXing and not only ride on my road bike, and do mountain biking and also a little bit of motocross. How I manage my schoolwork is to do my homework and make sure that it's done, and if I don't pass, I don't race.
The reason why he can go far is because of his willingness to listen and his discipline. He's an extremely disciplined young man. Doesn't say a lot, but listens a lot. And our training program is, we believe in the old style: discipline. Listen to what we say. And in that respect, and for that reason, Tabang is going to go very, very far.
To me, winning means that I've tried my best and I've achieved what I have wanted. If I win this race, I can get maximum points for the championships. If I don't do so well for this race, it will make me try harder for the next one.
Next week on Accelerate, Tabang will take a break from the track and we'll see if David has what it takes to grab a medal in his provincial competition. Don't miss out. In the meantime, check out our Facebook page for more news and views.